move that they be accepted as printed.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Well, there's only two places to sign.
Well,
Oh, you forgot Bob and...
Well, Bob wasn't at the last meeting.
Oh, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
he'll be on the next one.
And that, review and approve, March 23rd, 2021 warrant. And
I've looked at the payroll one, signed that, have you seen that?
Yeah.
Well, you all set?
I did bring a pen with me, so, one in there, or can I go to yours?
Yeah, go for it.
there's a couple of bills.
Well, want to see a happy face? She checked it, she checked the
excellent.
library.
Okay, historical too?
Yep.
Excellent, yay, thank you guys, appreciate it so much.
No, thank the town, it was.
I understand, but it means that we can get work finished on the building,
Yeah,
because the back stairs are starting to fall apart now.
really.
Serious carpentry work needs to get done, rebuild them, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danielle, Stan just rescuing is taking that overdraft off.
Okay, yep. I just wish that got reduced at that meeting, but it'll be a credit.
Yeah, here it is right here.
Yep. You guys kind of stay on, yeah, on top of that. I don't know how that works. Where are you? You're right here. Okay. You're just going through the meeting, Lisa, and I have you down here, okay? I would give it 20 minutes, maybe? Are you on email? Are you on your email right now? Okay, well, I'll just alert you. I think it's gonna be about 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion to accept him. This vote.
On favor?
You will sign this payroll.
Yeah. All right, right away to Campbellsville Pond, Mr. Anderson, huh?
Yep. We own 70 acres behind Pantherville Pine, and we have a right-of-way off from Pantherville Pine, but it's not well, I should say, that doesn't say the width, it's very vague on, how it goes up through. So, the town owns that lot right at the end of Pantherville. We thought we would ask the town if we could get a right-of-way up through to our 70 acres. Just, it would be like a straight shot. That and power, there's a pole right there at that last house. And the right-of-way would only have to be whatever the width of that road is. I imagine that must be documented somewhere.
I don't think it's a town road, no. I looked in the inventory and I don't see it as a town road. You say that you have a right of way?
Well, yeah, but it's from the big rock up the Woods Road, up to the line, and there's nothing specified as far as width, and that's why we are coming to you guys, because, if you don't have a legit width and something that CMP can set a pole or whatever on, they're not gonna do that. And not only that, I mean, banks, they don't let you borrow or anything on anything that doesn't have a legit right of way.
Right. I don't know what you folks think, but, I looked up what the inventory is of town roads, and there is not a town road through there. The Pantherville Pines Road is not a town road. It's a private way, of some sort, and I don't know if it's just a path people drove on over the years, or if it's, something that actually is, encoded into the deeds of the various lots. Looks like lot 24, 25, and 26 exist on both sides of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you folks
So,
think.
what we would have to do is get permission from the landowners first. I would think.
The town can grant, a right of way across property that it owns, but we can't grant right of way across property that we don't.
Right, yeah,
It's up to the two landowners to get together on.
yeah.
You plan on building something up in there or something?
Well, we bought it as a wood lot, but the more we looked into it after the fact, it's just that where the right of way is so vague, it just knocks the value of it, and yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have power up there and put a place up there eventually. It's just, I was kind of thinking that the town owned that. Well, you guys own that last lot, obviously, but you're saying that, I mean, that must have a right of way up to it. It's that last, 13, it's a straight line right up through.
Yeah.
I can show you. This is the road. parcel here. And this lot right here, I believe the town owns.
It's 30.
We just, didn't know really on the road, who owned the road or not.
I think we have to do some more research for it.
Yeah.
But I know that Brian doesn't plow it.
No, I don't think we're plowing anything over there.
No.
No, and so, privately maintained road, and,
Yep.
we'll just have to do some more, and it might be that you'll have to get some agreement between owners, that thing transits across.
Well, yeah, the way that the road looks, it looks like there's an existing road that goes up through there and the property lines just go to it. You can see where it's coming right off from the Convene Road, there's a legit right of way up through there. And, right now, there's a woods road that goes right straight up to our property. But again, they have a legit right of way, something that CMP would set poles and.
Yeah.
We just got caught in the right away, well, we didn't get caught in it, but we turned it over to the lawyers. There was a piece of property that sold to somebody else, and the guy had been using it as a right of way and stuff like that. And pretty much what the lawyers had told us, it had to be agreeable between both parties to keep a right of way open.
Okay.
So my guess, looking at that right now, would be the same thing. You'd have, anybody that owns on either side of that, you'd have to be in
Even just traversing, if you go along the edge, you're on somebody's property.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
So,
I would think CMP would have to get permission from these landowners to set poles there, wouldn't they?
yeah.
There's not a road, not a town road.
Yeah, they just went in and just updated all these poles,
So they did.
all the way right up to this last house. And again, the road just keeps on going up to our parcel of land. And, so, yeah.
So you're already driving across it, it's just, don't have a formal right of way.
Illegal.
Yeah.
One thing we found out, we're talking to the lawyers, is make sure you get it right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yep. First of all, I thought it was a town road. I would have stopped, before this point. If you guys do own this last lot.
30,
Yeah.
We don't, I think I have an idea, we own more than that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I was looking for a map that I did a number of years ago, but, there were a number of them at the time on it. I think some over toward the edge of Convene Road.
So obviously,
Yeah, right.
Okay, I looked into right-of-ways the past month or so. I wrote MMA. They weren't too clear answers. There's about 8 different types of right-of-ways. It's very complicated. You have to have a lawyer handle it. Any deeds you have, are there right-of-ways written into it already?
yes, yeah.
Okay, that's a good start. Have a lawyer handle it. A right-of-way, 60 feet wide, they still own the land, they can't block you.
Yeah.
That's what it does. And once you get it legal and get it written on a deed, CMP can come through it. But there's about 8 different right-of-ways, and some are temporary, some are forever, some we can take it away, so get a lawyer to handle it.
So, so would the town be interested in selling that lot? Because obviously that lot has a right of way up through that, this lot right here.
See if it does.
You're asking us if we'd be willing to sell this one here?
This lot that was one of the
30.
right of way, yeah.
Not 30.
I know.
Yeah, 1.34 acres.
So we're hoping to think this one is so 58.
But again, you can see off this map that, you know, all these lots are separate and there's a road right up through. And it goes right through that lot, so obviously that lot has a right of way.
I think we need to do some more research, for you,
Yeah.
just to,
Yep.
see what the options are, and, understand what you wanna do, and I think it's,
Yep.
up to us.
No, I appreciate it, and
It's not good to have landlocked property.
Yeah. Yeah.
but, you know, as far as legal fees and stuff, I mean, we'd be willing to take care of that, we wouldn't put it onto the town, you know, but I guess if you sold us, you know, then that would be different as far as.
It would almost make it easier.
Yeah, it would be a cleaner deal.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Well, anyway, think about it,
Yeah.
Yeah, we will.
appreciate the time and, good.
Thank you for coming
Yeah.
in.
All right, see ya.
Oh. IT service for our ones.
Yeah, I was hoping Deb was gonna be here, but she's, so she can't speak to what she went through. So we did some sort of description.
So, when we switched to Ion,
Yeah.
because they were doing a better service for us, was it?
Well, Chris was not coming when we needed him
Yeah.
on different stuff, we were doing the cameras and everything, and I
Yeah.
couldn't get a hold of him. Somehow Debbie texted him and he responds way better to her. So what happened is she's had a printer problem since December, and Conrad has come out and spent numerous hours in the office and remotely trying to fix this printer problem. Well, Deb just about had it, because a couple weeks ago, all of her printers didn't work, her registration printer didn't work. And before that, Conrad was charging us $125 an hour. It was not under our service agreement to fix these printers, because he said the printers the printer connections does not fall under the service agreement, it's just everything computer. So we're racking up this huge bill just to do a printer that he still couldn't fix. So she had it, and she said, she tried calling Ion, she says, I need my registration printer at least. Conrad was on vacation and none of the other techs would take it. So she said, I've had it. So she called the other guy that used to do it, he fixed it in 5 minutes.
Wow. Whoops.
So she says, we really gotta take another look at this. So she is requesting that we switch back over to Chris Sanborn. I pulled off we don't have a contract with Ion, that was their selling point. There's nothing locking us in for a certain time period. So she wants to change back over to Chris. He has firewall, he has antivirus, he will do the same thing he did before, and he costs $95 an hour. And these guys are charging us $275 a month for the firewall and this online remote service that they're supposed to be giving us. And the Chris Sanborn he says, if you've been charging that, you should have bought your firewall by now, because that's astronomically high. So, she wanted you to take a look at it. I agree with her. All it was an update on our computer. So, she wants to switch back over to Chris Sanborn from Modem Wings.
So they charge us a monthly fee for
$275 every single month.
And didn't fix it, wow.
Nothing printers, he said, falls under the service agreement, only computers. And her argument was, my computer is connected to my printer. I cannot print from my computer to my printer. How does it not fall under the service agreement? And we just got these large invoices without much explanation, so.
So Danielle, all the IT, though, in the building is under the service agreement.
What's that?
All of the IT here in the building is serviced by this contract, or whatever it is.
He charges a certain amount for remote maintenance and fixing of the,
Yeah, but if you have a problem, he'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's like
If you have a
6
problem-
computers, right?
right,
Yeah.
So they're all covered in the same one, okay.
yep. You have that service agreement in front of you?
Yeah. I
It's
think-
not even a service agreement, it's just a bunch of invoices explaining basically what he was charging and what was covered.
Mm. I don't know if this is too smart.
That's,
Yeah. How secure is that?
Not very.
and that's what he said, if we ever canceled with him, he would give over the password and everything right
Yeah.
there, so
I guess
there
he
it is
does.
right there.
Looks
To
like
the,
he's anticipating something.
well, he kept saying that was a selling point, if we ever wanted to cancel, there was no contract, so.
She's gotta have backup. You gotta have
Well,
backup.
you got, yeah.
Things happen, you know, and sometimes they're above your head and stuff.
Well,
That's
he
why
was
you
here
get
for
these-
4 hours in office tying up her computer, and then she's been leaving her computer on at night for him to fix it. He hasn't been fixing it. And then sometimes when it's real busy, he wants to jump on it and work on it, so she's got no control over her computer, so it's all on Robin's computer. And she has to put up a sign, see the other clerk, and here's Robin got a line, and just, just was not working.
He does it without her permission?
What's that?
He does it without her permission?
Well, he'll call and say, can I take your computer and fix your printer? And she'll say, yeah, go ahead, and
Oh, yeah.
it rolls into hours. But she called Chris, and that was kind of, he literally fixed it in 5 minutes. There was a little update he had to do on the computer.
So, we've not had a service contract before for any of them, we just had kind of an agreement that they'll come and call them.
That's what we got when we hired him on, basically. He did a series of invoices, and
Oh, this is what a one-time item would cost, huh?
yeah, because we had items to be fixed, and
I see. Well, I suggest we just tell them we don't need them anymore after we get the other guy on board.
I agree.
It's unanimous.
Yeah,
Okay.
She needs backup.
yeah.
But we need to get what's Chris Sanborn, was that his name?
this is the guy that used to come in one way.
Call him and make sure that he's available, that he can handle everything that we've got.
He said he'd come back. Deb already spoke to him about it, so.
And just so, I think at some point we should get him under a contract if we can.
How do you want me to notify Ion?
You're fired.
No, I would wait till we get somebody else for sure on board, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Make
That's
sure
my suggestion.
we get coverage for it. Yeah, just tell me no longer. You deserve it.
Maybe a letter from the selectmen.
Yeah.
I could give to him would be more appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take care of it.
She did talk to Conrad and say that while he was on vacation, Chris fixed the computer, and he asked how he did it. She said, call Chris.
Where is he from? Is he from Gorham?
I wanna say why do I think Harrison? I can almost see it, I'm not sure. It's something like that. He takes care of a lot of towns. He's a one-man band, that's the only thing. He's always very busy, but
Is that the guy Larry Lord dug up for us a while?
probably.
He's not working for the library?
We have, Patrick Stewart.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I know.
The Patrick Stewart?
No,
Captain.
much experience here, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Waterford.
What,
there you go.
That's close enough, yeah. Did he do that remotely?
Yep.
Or did he come in and do it remotely?
so he can get into that system anyways.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Scary.
Yeah.
It is,
yeah.
yeah.
Very.
We have our equipment, that program that can get it remotely, and I'm sitting there watching, and he's doing all kinds of things, I'm sitting there watching, I have no control
Right.
over what to do, it's kinda weird.
We had one guy in White Plains, New York, and another guy down in Portsmouth. And depending on if you had a problem where you got, they could do the same thing.
Yeah,
But nobody's gonna get onto our system,
right, yeah,
you know, unless they have the password and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, oh, yeah,
They would absolutely not go Wi-Fi.
oh, yeah,
No.
oh, yeah,
No,
I'm sure,
sir.
hack into it, yeah.
No.
All right, other than that, kids program, we moved from Ariel. So she sent the email explaining what her plans are.
Yep. And justifying, Bobby, Joe, Charles, involvement.
So that's the difference between a daycare and a after-school, school program,
That's,
that she's gonna be
that's the program, yep.
doing her teaching and actives and.
She don't say how many more kids. She just said spaces are limited, but she don't say how many more.
I can ask her.
You know, if you don't go over.
Well, that's, I mean, you take this girl's wages right here against, there was 2, 3 other little kids that worked there plus Ariel's. This has gotta still be a profit-making deal.
Right, yeah.
You know, we can't support it.
She's getting paid minimum wage, so. She's got all the trainings and everything, and she's getting paid minimum wage, so she thought that was a pretty good deal. She's more than willing to come in and talk to you, but you said that if she just did the email thing, she's got a little one at home, so if she had come in and talk to you guys face to face, if you're still concerned and want more information on everything.
I think, as far as I'm concerned, this is fine, yeah, it explains what our plans are, and, I think it covers that.
It would be nice if she'd come to us first, though,
Right, yeah,
you know, and, you know, look, going forward,
Yep,
she'd come to us and present it to us instead of already starting the plan. And,
okay.
yeah, just give us a heads up of what
Yeah,
we're gonna be doing, yeah.
right now, we're getting blindsided.
Right, yeah.
She's getting geared up for summer, and spending some money, which she knows what her budget's at and everything, so it's not a lot of money, but she's making plans. She's got the ice cream truck lined up for summer, and she's already got quite a few kids coming for summer, so
So where's the garden gonna be?
that's up to you guys. She wants to talk to you guys, move, you know, face to face about the garden.
We've had this presented to us before by a guy up in Hiram that wanted to do raised beds. You know, and once we thought it was gonna go in a straight line out back here, you know, when you drive out around back in, where you drive straight up by the playground equipment and stuff, put like 2 or 3 raised beds right there. Then that would separate the playground from the parking area. That's what we talked about once before, but the grants and stuff kind of run out. You know, can't remember the guy's name. He lives up on Tacat, up past Grover Hartman's place on the right-hand side. I know he knows you and Joe.
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yes,
Right.
Dawn.
Yeah, Dawn.
Dawn, yeah.
Yeah,
Little Dawn.
I don't know his last name, but, he's very enthusiastic.
well, particularly when kids are involved.
He was all ready to go until COVID hit.
Yeah,
He had a whole plan, it was gonna go, and then it got shut
Yeah.
down.
went sour. But you know, I mean, I garden myself, but you can do a lot of gardening in 5-gallon buckets
Oh, yeah.
on something like this.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
then move your buckets wherever you need to and use them year after year.
Yeah,
So I don't see it as a big problem.
no, I don't either. Especially teaching the kids how to,
It's good for the kids.
it's good, yeah, it's very.
And if they can progress it enough so they can raise some of their own fruits and vegetables, and what they raise, it's even that much,
Yeah,
it's a win-win situation all the way around.
maybe they'll even go on farming when they get.
Well, they'd be smart to stay out of that.
No money in agriculture.
What are we looking to do? Would we have to say yes, or no, or just info?
I think it's just info.
Just info, yeah. Yeah, we're just concerned by, she's had kids here all day, and we wanted to find out what the difference was between a daycare and an after-school program, or a school program.
A recreational program.
Recreation program.
Rec, you have to use that word, it's a rec
Recreational.
program.
And what kind of licenses, we're going out of our license, and this explains that we don't have to have a license to do this rec
Right.
program.
It has nothing to do with insurance, it has to do with state licensing.
Right.
We don't have to have a state license, cause it's a recreational program for kids.
We want to teaching them and being active with them. I think that's what the main concern was about. You good with that?
Good.
All right, cemetery work. Well, the first one, my father, and he would like, him and his friend George would like to do the cemeteries this summer, all of them. Well, at least all the old ones anyway. I don't know how long it's been since they've been done, but I don't think, I mean, there's enough work for 3 people. Way back when I was doing them, we had 3 of us doing them, we could do it, this is only 9,000 a year for that, yeah, I mean, always winning on the budget.
I think that's what we got this year too, was this 9,000. Yeah, I think cemeteries get cut by $1,000
Yeah.
this year, so.
Even if it, you know, if they get close, they can stop. I don't know what Brian's father-in-law is gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I think we ought to at least find out if he wants, I mean, he did a good job last year.
Yeah.
On the big cemeteries.
On the big
and
ones,
stuff.
yeah, I don't think he touched the old ones where, it's the law, you have to maintain those
Yeah.
ancient burial grounds and veterans
Yep.
graves. I know one of, which is, way up in the woods, it's got a Civil War veteran in it. It's like Middleton pine trees, that usually seems to get plummeted with limbs and stuff during the wintertime.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, you only have to go up there like once to mow it, because it's in shaded areas and doesn't grow. Putting flags on and, you know, make sure all the veterans have flags.
So is Brian still managing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I talk to Brian?
Well, I think we should,
Okay.
you know, before we just change.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'll have them, all 3 of them.
Yeah,
We just wanted to make sure
Well,
all the old ones are done in the.
Well, I think you gotta have 2 guys doing them old cemeteries and stuff.
Yeah,
just
'cause-
for safety reasons.
Yes, my
And-
father doesn't believe in cell phones. And George does, he has a cell phone, so, yes, there would be 2, and,
And he knows where they all are, right?
yeah, I asked him, I said, you remember where we all are? No, yeah, I think I probably do.
Well, if he forgets, the directory is at the Historical Society with pictures and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think Mary Cobb did
She did.
quite a lot of work that.
She
didn't
did. He has it all on discs and in a book as well.
Yeah. What's the guy's name, George?
George, I don't know his last name. He used to live right across the road from, I don't know, the old schoolhouse, top of the hill there.
where you keep the equipment and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you gonna talk to Brian Dwight, or,
Well, I think we should.
well, who's gonna do it, I guess, that's what I'm asking. Do you want me to call him, or is someone gonna go talk to Brian?
I can try and catch up with him, or, get my father to talk to him.
It's up to you guys, I just didn't know if you wanted me to make a phone call, if you were going. You know what?
We ought to know, you know, if he wants to do it again this year,
Oh, yeah.
by all means, do it and stuff.
So if you want, call him and see what his plans are and tell him what,
Okay.
It might be that we just tell him we've got two guys who wanna do it, and he continues to supervise the effort.
yeah, yeah.
I know,
Sometimes usually the hardest part is finding people.
Yeah,
I know the Sawyer Cemetery across the street from me,
yeah.
then the Thorn Cemetery up the street, I don't think it's been a while since either one of them two have got anything done.
It's on something, that's up beyond, Julie's and.
Yeah, it's up in there, you know, you say I think there's a Civil War soldier up in there too.
Mhm. Yep. I think some duffels in there. There's two, well, actually three on School Street, going behind the library. And then you go up the road, and there's two more up there, you go past the Intervale Road, and there's a house, goes kind of way out and back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like side by side, with two separate cemeteries up in there.
Out back, Reddy Upple's old house.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a pond down in there too, you know.
There is.
Yeah, Boyd's Pond. You go far enough out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any pickle?
I've never missed it.
Foreclosure reviews.
Your packets are, when we ever go,
Oh, well, well.
they're labeled by numbers. So, you have a sheet detailing the previous residents, these are all officially town-owned under Town of Baldwin. But the background information, all the certifieds and the letters are in each packet. They've been notified numerous times.
Looks like we got some, letters back from, without being opened.
Yep. So I guess,
There's no people living in the Van Vliet Maddox one. This is the one down on River Road, right?
that's right, yep.
That's the one that we worked on so long, trying to sell before, and the prospective buyer, wanted the property, but just didn't wanna have the problem of a clouded title to it.
Now this is off River Road or off?
Yeah, it's
down off
on
the
River Road, you know, as you're driving along, you'll see the little cemetery there. I don't know if it's got one or two stones in it.
This is the one that's got a mortgage on it. Somebody is mortgaging, remember that? From Mexico, Maine.
I don't remember a mortgage.
Mortgaging, yep, because they actually heard about this problem, and he said, well, can we buy it? And I said, well, no, we can't, we're not gonna change the deed.
This was a
An
Maddox.
attorney called me, if you remember right. And we said, it would have to go out for sale, it couldn't just go to them.
Correct one I'm thinking of.
Yep, it
19
is.
acres is a
That's the
pretty
one
good
that got
sized piece
really
of land.
squirrely.
It is.
Mm.
That's very marketable.
But this is the one that does have the cemetery on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We originally started this thing, on the tax maps, it looked like a postage stamp. And it looked like the cemetery took up a good portion of it. But as we researched it, turns out that there was a pretty good piece of property there.
If that email's not in there, I can make a copy. I emailed you guys a long time ago,
Yeah.
recapping the whole thing.
Yeah. And, you know, the pickle lady, I think somehow got involved, because she's related in some way to the people who were originally owned it. We had taxed this, sent tax bills to somebody with a wrong name.
Oh, you're thinking of a different one.
Am I?
Yes, yep. Yep, same road.
All right.
You're close.
All right, and,
That's okay.
whatever happened to that one?
It got sold,
Oh, it did?
and then Steve Estes bought it from that other guy, cause the pickle
Oh.
farm
Yeah,
There you go.
has a problem.
that was a big trouble. A big fight there. Yeah.
Well, it's on the tax roll again.
Yeah, this one got, and probate was deeded to this Maddox. So, yeah, it's, you're a refresher, we got that all in a document.
This might be.
I don't know if it's ever easy.
This one is then up beyond the railroad tracks? Is it?
Off to the left, isn't it, going down the road, they had a
I
for
don't know, I
sale.
have to look, I don't.
Yep, thank you, we can recheck that.
The cemetery's on the right-hand side, going down the river road. If it's one I'm thinking of.
The one with like two stones.
Yeah.
It sets right up on the bank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the one with the pickle lady was involved.
that's right.
Next.
Pat Libby and her husband were trying to buy it.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
There's another cemetery right across the road from that. Kind of in the woods a little bit.
You want a part-time job?
There's one down.
That's where we got screwed up, because Pat and Steve, we tried buying this one too, and it got all in a mess, so he tried both of them, that's why you're.
Great.
You know, when you get out where a shot bend in the road is, you know, other end of the river road, there's a cemetery right up to the left of there too. There's no markers. There's the same thing down here on Fisherman's Road. You go over the brook there, and there's a house sitting way back. And back of the house is a big cemetery there. There's no markers.
Wow. Great.
All you see is the divots.
They've all collapsed, yeah.
Yeah.
So these are all land only except one that, has mobile homes on it,
This is the heirs of Karen Fortin.
yes. Somebody else is living in the mobile home, not the person that was responsible for the taxes, so there might be squatters out there. But I guess that's my question, where do you guys, they're just kinda sitting in their town owned, they weren't assessed 2020 taxes, what do you wanna do with them? That's the question.
We've been this way before, haven't we, Wes?
What was that?
Yeah, we've been this way before, where we had people squatting in a house and that wasn't owned by the people in it. Remember the lady up there, I thought it was off Crawford Road as well.
Oh, yeah, that was,
Trailer home or something, and the gentleman,
house was almost falling in, and, yeah,
he died, and,
I think the house is wrecked now.
yeah.
Torn
But
up. Yeah.
I think the way we resolved that one was, we left it to the owner.
I left it where,
We
Whoever
found out
owns
that the
it.
property belonged to somebody else, it didn't belong
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
people. And we said, okay, it's yours, and he took care of, I think,
and there was projected some date that she was gonna move out.
right.
Sketchy, I don't know.
Well, anyway, I think there's
Too many-
one, the
Too many
place,
houses. Too many stories to remember.
but that's, one of the ways you can sell it is, as is, which is with somebody squatting on it.
Let them pick them out.
Right.
We're talking about the unknown owner here? Was
No.
that, what's become of the land with the trailers there? Was the name?
That's one, that's a Karen Fortin one.
When we're talking about
Okay. Yeah, because I was talking to Brett Anderson today, he's interested in land, but can't find the owners.
Town.
Yeah, we're the owners right
It's
now.
town owned right now, so let's
How else is it?
need to focus on, what are we doing with these?
Yep.
You want me to knock on the door and find out what's going on?
No, I don't think you need to. I think that if we decide that we're going to sell it, you can sell it as is.
Yeah.
And, a prospective buyer, depending on their, gumption, could
Let them have the burden.
have the burden of it, right? And what the town is really looking for is, to get the property back on the tax rolls.
Yeah.
And, if you have to hire a sheriff, I mean, I've been through this, evicting somebody from a property, even though they have no right to be there, you can't just throw them out. You have to go through a court process of.
So you might end up having to take care of them.
I don't know, you might.
Yeah.
There's a fine line there.
That's right.
So it'd be better if you could just sell it and let the new owner deal with their problem, I think.
Yeah, that sounds good to me,
That would be nice.
I guess the owners would be held to the fact that they have to give them at least 30 days or something like that to get out. But with that, you're gone, my place.
Well, my experience is you gotta get a sheriff to deliver an eviction notice, and, even when the person in there has no legal right to be there. But, let me say, that'd be for somebody else to deal with, but I would think for this one, I wouldn't try to list that with a real estate agent, I would do it as just a bid here at the town office.
We've had 2 or 3 people come in and ask about that already, that's what we pretty much told them, it will be bid off.
Yeah.
When the time comes, right?
Yeah, and,
So that one's bid,
I would say so was a bid,
okay?
that's a recommendation. I don't know about the Van Vliet one, because it's not what I thought it was.
And the only thing that's sticky on that one is that mortgage holder would buy the property, so I don't know.
On the Van Vliet one? Yeah.
If you guys wanna,
I'll look at it again, I don't know if you folks have done it.
I can give you guys that updated information, and you can, that's a little more stickier than the others, because of the mortgage holder type.
I think I talked to the person that was doing this, and the thing was that the mortgage holder wanted to come in and pay off and take over ownership. And what I think I talked to that guy on the phone, I
Yep,
said,
I think you did too.
you can pay off the taxes, but we can't give you
That's right.
ownership.
Yep, right.
Just because you paid off the taxes, I mean, you can go in and pay off anybody's taxes, doesn't mean you own it.
That's what they told us when we went to that tax school.
Right,
No matter who wanted to pay it, take whatever money they wanted to give you.
Yeah.
but you can't turn over ownership for it, so,
But is that some sort of cloud if someone is like mortgaging that property?
he owns the mortgage.
Right,
This gentleman, was Maddox the guy who owns the mortgage, right?
yeah, somebody's paying Maddox for that property.
Yeah,
Wasn't there a lawyer involved in that from
An
Buffett?
attorney buddy of his called, and that was the whole conversation. You can pay off the taxes, but we're not doing anything.
that's right, I recall it now, because
Deed change.
he says, oh, that's what we do up here.
Yeah, he's in Mexico, Maine. These guys are from Rumford, this Maddox is from Rumford, and the other one's from Mexico, they're right there.
All right,
Anyway.
I'll dig into it again, it might be though, it's one where you, auction it off. And if he's got interest in it financially, he might,
Let him bid on it, and
yeah, might have more.
You guys wanna review some more information on each and talk about your workshop?
Maybe,
It is
And give us a little more time to breathe.
yeah,
This one here on Biggs Lane on Sand Point, that must be a back lot.
It's
That's-
yeah,
That's got some value to it,
to the abutters.
yeah.
yeah.
Which one is that now? The 2102?
Yep.
Yeah. Only 0.45 acres.
And I've talked to his son numerous times, and he was all set to pay, the back taxes are not very much, but he has not paid them. And I have even, we've talked, so he's very well aware of the situation.
Well, if you put it up for bid, that might, stimulate some interest to actually do something.
I wonder, is this lot all surveyed, do you know about that?
Which one, like,
The Biggs Lane one?
if it's surveyed, I don't know, I can look, see if it's registered anyway.
Is it on the pond or is it adjacent to it?
My guess is it's back lot,
Okay.
because over off the Biggs Lane,
Yeah,
there's 4 or
no.
5 together over there.
It's split on
Yeah.
the other side of the road, yeah. Might even be the one that,
One of them,
you tried to,
remember the girl came in here once who was crying, so,
I don't remember that.
yeah, she,
Oh, well, okay, go ahead.
she worked for Dunkin' Donuts down in Standish and stuff, and,
That's not this one.
no, I know it's not, but
Okay.
it's, I think it's near it though.
Right,
You know, like I say, I think this is a back lot from what I
Yeah,
can
right.
figure.
okay.
So we'll get you more information to, you guys can chew on it some more.
That girl thought we was gonna take a house, and we had no intention of taking a house, we just wanted it paid.
Yeah. How does that work out?
And she paid it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she's back in the book again this year, but she paid it that, you know, they paid everything right up front.
You guys should be proud, that is the list of foreclosures.
That's it?
Yeah.
We-
There's one that's not listed that is ongoing, but you guys are aware of it, so, but
Yeah.
that's it.
I
They're
think
not
we,
complicated. They're complicated, but not bad. Could be worse, as you guys each have seen.
Well, it took a lot of work to get to that point. I know you folks have been pursuing it the last couple of years pretty well, it looks to me like.
we've been lucky, we've had a couple big ones pay off,
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
Yep.
one was, what, 34,000 on one of them?
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Another one was, I know they come in and paid their back taxes on it, that was $11,000 or $12,000.
Mhm. It's like once you start putting your feet to the fire, they
Yeah.
jump a little bit.
That and getting our tax records straightened out has helped a lot, I think.
Yeah, you're right, Paul.
So this one called Douglas Barbara Matter, Barbara Douglas and Joseph Matter. This is the one down,
Intervale.
on the Intervale. Is this right on the river?
Yeah,
That's,
there's,
that has a structure, they don't live there, that's a cabin.
We own everything around it already, don't we?
That I don't know.
I thought we owned all of those little lots down there.
I know George Anderson has a
George
place.
Davis owns one.
George Davis, yeah, George
Yeah.
Davis has a place, cause I talked to him about that. I have to walk down there, there are no 911 addresses down on the Intervale in the state system.
Hmm.
So once the mud dries up, I have to walk down and GPS each camp.
You're
In case we
gonna
have
have
a
to,
fire or something, that's major.
you're gonna have to do the airport intervale too then.
Yep,
Well,
on a very nice summer day.
Mhm.
You don't wanna do that alone though,
Okay,
you know?
I'll call you tonight, you can come down with me.
Yeah, I'll walk down with you.
Bring Camden, we'll bring
Well,
protection.
Yeah, he'll need to walk too.
Maybe my call too, and some of it.
Anytime you guys want, yeah, I'll let you know.
No,
Anytime.
it's been years since I've seen them camps on the Red Farm intervale, but you'll be surprised at what there is on the airport intervale. I mean, there's some nice camps there.
I haven't been down there in years.
Well, they had one come down, a tree come down over it, and they rebuilt it, it's all a
Yeah.
big log home.
Oh, really?
It's beautiful.
Really?
So, most of these are down on though, aren't they?
Mhm.
A whole bunch of them are.
We can double check, but
You okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say, seems though I've seen that before, and Flint's name was on on that.
Yeah.
George Davis's lot is kind of screwed up. We're working on one situation.
I was
with the
trying to think
assessors
who
on
was
that.
behind that.
It was done on somebody, some property developer or somebody told me at one point. I don't know who it was.
Have you been down there?
No, I haven't.
That's like me in Pineland, I've lived there all my life, I've never been to Pineland. Never been in there.
I was up there like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the thing with it, the story, when we first started looking at the, Pantherville Pines, somebody told me that there are several people buried up on one of those lots.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Oh my goodness.
And,
EMTs won't go up there without an escort.
Yeah, it used to be pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
one of the individuals that was up there, we had talked to them, I think at one point, was, I don't know if you were with us at the time, or if it was Gary and all.
Might have been Gary Rowland, like I say, I haven't had anything
The,
to do with Pantherville, or Pineland. I know it more as Pineland.
I know it's
but-
no Thailand too.
Yeah.
But he was a good friend of a cousin of mine who was a druggie, pretty heavy.
Mhm.
And, you know, it didn't sound good.
No.
So, anyway, this looks like it's lots 12 and 13, like, or these two. Yeah, lots 12 and 13. And,
You go to which one,
I think.
He's still off, so.
I think we
we're
should look
good.
and see which one of those are town-owned, because I thought that the town was trying to collect those up.
Yeah, I can't tell you.
You know, nowadays, I don't think you get
You can't, it's
You
within
can't
the
put
flood,
it-
within the
yeah, you
floodplain.
can't build within it or anything, and it might be ones that you just have to.
It isn't like down on the airport in the Vale, they're up on a high bank.
Right.
It's probably 40 feet down to the river.
So that's just my thought, is it might be ones you don't wanna do anything with. Just hang on to them, cause I think a lot of those are already town-owned, if you look at them. Just what my memory tells me,
It's still got some value to them.
yeah. But they,
Access is the hardest part. You know, there's a road that goes right down to them and stuff, but it's also chained.
yeah. All right, well, you folks can look at those, I'll see if I can, do some more research too on the whole Intervale, all those old, look like camp lots, or what they were. That whole string of lots there, looked like there were camps along the Saco, what was intended to be.
There was on that red farm, there was 4 or 5 camps down there one time.
Yeah.
George Davis had an issue, and I was working with Liz on it, and there's an assessor thing that we need to straighten out down there too, so it's kind of swirly. They've been working on a few lots down there, so I'll give you that background,
Okay.
cause yeah, it got sticky.
Might even be in that report of, that Joe and Kurt Olson worked on.
Delaney's.
Yeah. Cause they looked through the records and all the properties that the town owned are listed in
I
there.
was just looking at that somewhere, it's a little while ago.
Cause of that 1024 lot is on there as well.
Maybe that's where I see that from.
Yeah, so we wanna talk about that a little bit? So the 1024 lot came up several years ago, I think 2017. When Joe thought that there was somebody cutting trees on the town lot up there. And so we had Jack Wadsworth go up and mark out what he found in terms of, markers on the lot, and he actually gave us a GPS drawing, or map with a coordinates on it. Unfortunately, the GPS coordinates that he had corresponded with the tree cutting. The trees were cut on the west side of the lot, and not on the east side. It was cut right in half. But those coordinates don't match up with the town's GIS lots. You can see that they're shifted a little bit or something, you know, the whole thing is, well, you know how it is. Tax maps don't line up with
The real thing.
things on the ground. I mean, they're a representation, that's about it. And I did the deed research and showed that the west side of the lot now belongs to Nature's Wilderness. So, if you, depending on what you look at for tax maps, they show that it's a 120 or so acre lot in size, but it says 56 on it.
Yeah.
And so, what the assessors need to do is cut it in half, and the town owns the right-hand side, or the eastern side, and Nature's Wilderness owns the other half. I mean, I managed to trace that from a distant cousin of mine down through the various years and into Nature's Wilderness. I think Day owned it.
He sold it.
Yeah, and so the only real question then is, do we want to sell the other half, and how do we have title to it, or what type of title do we have to it? That's the thing I didn't look at, is how did the town ever get title to that?
I don't mean to interrupt, but she's gonna log off, she's no longer, do you wanna take her right now before she logs off?
Sure.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt you, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
No,
Give her time.
Yep. So we'll do this.
Gosh, careful.
There you go, go for it.
There we go.
Lisa, you there? Lisa?
you should put her first, yeah.
She's talking, but there's no sound.
Hang on, Lisa. How's that, Lisa?
I can hear you.
Good, we hear you.
All right, excellent. Yeah, just checking in to see if there was, an update in your conversation. Were you able to have a conversation with Hiram?
Not really, we're still, looking into a lawyer. We've gotten a couple other names for an attorney. You still looking at that, Danielle?
Your email's right there. It's either Jensen and Baird, or Hiram gave us Jensen and Baird's, contact information. So
Yeah,
I guess the question is, what do you guys wanna go with, Jensen and Baird or Drummond and Williams?
well,
Drummond and Woodson is Hiram's attorney.
yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
We'd be working with one attorney instead of two. Or one, I guess I should say firm, one firm instead of two firms.
But why does Terry give us Jensen and Baird's information? Because it seemed like Terry was recommending Jensen and Baird, because
Yes,
it's,
sounds like, yeah, and he said he did a good job on it.
Well, they did Westbrook's.
Yeah. He did an excellent job, he says. I mean, we still use just one between the two towns. I'd say whichever's cheaper.
Well, that's for us to decide, I guess the question for Lisa was, waiting for the town to pick a representative, right? Is that what you're looking for?
You probably haven't met Bob yet, he's, returning selectman, he was just elected last weekend, so this is Bob Flint.
Hi, Bob, nice to meet you. Yeah, essentially, where we were at a couple of weeks ago was, you know, discussing getting an attorney, to, you know, review, with the town, what's involved in a TIF and the benefits of a TIF, and kind of like help with, you know, with giving you some guidance on that. And I had explained that Hiram, their council is, Drummond and Woodson, and, they were very open to, you know, to exploring a TIF, in conjunction with Baldwin. In other words, it would be two separate TIFs, but, maybe getting guidance or using the same local attorney so that, there could be an efficiency there. Essentially, we would end up with, you know, just look to have the same set of terms.
Right.
So, excuse me, that's where we left it off, and I think that, that you all were gonna, look into having a conversation with Hiram, select board, and seeing, you know, what counsel you might, choose to retain, and we would pay for that, that initial consultation, just, you know, and then if we go forward from there, we'll have a conversation, we can make a commitment beyond that to pay for the legal fees that the town would incur, you know, in order to get to a TIF and a CEA. But those would, but taking the first step would be to just get to a point where the select board is comfortable, getting a presentation from Glensville about it, you know, for it. So,
Excuse me. So you folks already have a proposal that you wanna put to the town, right? You have something that,
we presented some general materials. We didn't, bring a specific,
you have numbers or something that you're looking for.
specific numbers. Yeah, we have not done that yet, but we can do that. We just hadn't reached that point yet. And certainly, I mean, you know, the TIF is, the TIF allows for, you know, a shelter of, so you end up with getting a benefit of additional revenue when you do a TIF and a CEA. And the numbers will, you know, certainly need to be looked at for sure, but we just have not yet presented numbers.
Well, I assume you've already cranked some out. I mean, you've cranked them out already, and you know what you're going to propose to the town.
I'm sorry?
You've already done the numbers, and you know what you're gonna propose to the town?
Yeah, certainly we can bring some, you know, some general numbers to the table. They won't be like specific to, for example, you know, the assessed value of the asset. We have, you know, we have a method for arriving at assessed value, but certainly the assessor is going to need to look at that. So,
Yeah, sure.
and then, you know, the percentage of revenue sharing with the state and the county and how that all gets shifted is that's a formula that, you know, or they can be plugged in, and then you get an estimate of what the TIF revenues would be to the town over, you know, the 20 to 30 year period of TIF.
Yeah.
So we can certainly put that together. I think what we were, we hadn't gotten to that point, but if that's what you'd like to see, we can put that together and,
Well, we can go find somebody to, represent us, you know, some TIF expertise, I think, we can do that. But very quickly, I think, from a town's point of view, is we're gonna start looking at what are the benefits to the
Okay.
town. And so, you very quickly, I think, start looking at some numbers and, the mechanics of the
Okay.
TIF and how that works.
okay. All right, so why don't I take away that as an action item and, we'll pull those together. I did send over materials, there were, you know, kind of introductory materials on the benefits of the TIF, and it looks like.
It looked like this.
Yeah, I read it.
Can't see it, but yeah.
Mine is 26 pages long.
Yeah,
Hers is only 13.
All right, terrific. Well, I won't keep you any longer, and, I appreciate the, you know, the openness to take a look at it, and, I will get it over to you, to Danielle. It probably would make sense to just schedule, I'll get it to you in advance of the meeting, and then schedule in 2 weeks to review them. How's that sound?
yeah. We'll see how quickly we can get somebody on board to have some kind of a meeting.
Yeah,
We'll see how
I think
quickly we
we
can,
that.
I say, we'll see how quickly we can get somebody to actually sit down in a meeting with us.
Can you just repeat that one more time?
We will see how quickly we can get somebody to sit down in a meeting with us.
Oh, right. Yeah, I hear you now.
Yep.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the meantime, you're gonna choose an attorney and try to meet
Yep.
with them? You're
Yeah.
trying to do that, okay?
David Laurie suggested to come and put some to us also.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Give us some rates.
thank you, Lisa.
okay,
All right.
Thank
you
you.
so much. All right, good evening. Thank you.
so we wanna go someone once?
Well, that's what David Laurie gave us for a name.
Yeah.
If they have somebody that can jump right on it, that would be great.
Yeah,
Come out here and tell us about the TIF,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Oh, no, yeah.
what we can,
Questions? That's not a question. So, Glendale's initiating, they want TIS.
yeah,
Yeah, and she just said something right there.
TIS sounds like it puts them at advantage, they're saving a lot of money. What other program do we want that gives us more money?
that's what we're trying to find out.
Okay,
Yeah,
And she just said, you just heard her say a 20 or 30-year TIF, but the last meeting we had, they talked about a 10-year TIF.
right.
You know, so I mean, where is this coming from all of a sudden?
just the fact they're holding back amounts of money, they're playing games.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I think what they're looking to, you know, they're looking to sell in a couple of years, and they're trying to make it as attractive as they possibly can to sell.
I read somewhere that more than 50% of solar farms are sold.
Yep, yeah. This guy is, you know, these people are developers, they're not into the power business, yeah. They're looking to get money on it, and they wanna.
so Danielle,
Yes, sir.
oh, okay, I move that we, contact, Drummond Lipson.
Okay. Sounds good to me?
Good, good. So schedule a meeting and keep Hiram in the loop, cause you want this to be a combined meeting, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Hiram can only do it on Thursday nights.
Right.
Okay.
I'll just copy Kara and all the communications, so we're all on.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, their interest is a tax reduction.
Yeah.
What I have a hard time finding is how the town can, get some advantage out of it.
Right.
Other than maybe some future revenue, you know, it's, you know, they want a TIF because the TIF gives them the vehicle to get to the credit enhancement agreement, which is, we give them back some of the taxes.
And we've been told to stay a long ways away from that.
Well, yeah, the real question is, of course, they're gonna sell it to us as a way to shield some of this increased asset value to the town from state and county taxes, which we've just seen the result of, I think, last night.
Last night, yeah.
But the question is, how do we do that? Because I think you can only shield the part that you have to have, if you put a tip around that whole solar farm,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that we can spend money on the solar farm? Nothing.
That's right.
We don't own it, I mean, you could increase the bubble a bit, but it's all Steve Estes property, you know,
There's no roads or anything.
there's no roads, there's
Yeah.
nothing that the town needs.
Yeah.
If somebody could tell us that you could build a fire department,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just had a bill in front of the legislature where they're trying to approve TIF money to do municipal buildings or anything, and it bombed.
so it's hard to see how the TIF, unless it's strictly to entice these people to come and build this place, is gonna do anything for us.
Right.
But, I mean, that's why I said, ask her, you've got a proposal, tell us. What you think?
Read what that says right there. David Ledoux was head of taxation for the state of Maine.
Oh, Mike Rogers, yeah. You know, Mike Rogers, he's the guy who, assesses the value of the, hydro plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of this scares me right to death.
Yeah.
You know, just,
The other thing that you might look into is, alternative energy grants that are given to many of these companies.
they just got $11 million. They
Bingo.
just got it.
Bingo. So maybe you
It
wanna
wasn't
save
here.
the money with the lawyers and
It's
just
for ball
say,
and soul.
bye now?
Right, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not sounding like anybody's gonna benefit but them.
Right, yeah. That's the more I'm looking into it.
Well, if you look at the numbers, there might be a way that the town
That would be nice.
can shield some of it from the evaluation, but I'd have to see it, I don't know. Yeah,
And on top of that, isn't there something about the state then cycling the money back into the town?
no, this developer, says the whole thing would be taxable. And therefore, that's why they want the credit enhancements, so they get some of the taxes back. Whereas, the property, or the solar farm over on the other property is tax exempt, which is a misleading term, by the way.
True.
Because we have a lot of tax exempt property and business equipment in town. Doesn't mean the town doesn't get any tax revenue from it.
No.
It means we get it from the state. We get a reduced portion, but we get from the state. So, no, it's a complicated process, and there's this revenue shift concept that says, if you build something in your town, or a new business comes in, it's not tax exempt. You are not going to get the full value of the revenue, because the state will come by and whack you for school share, and the county will reduce your revenue sharing that way, and so you're only gonna get about, I don't know, 30%. But it's 30% is better than nothing, you know? Anyway, next.
All right.
Well, this is why we need that
Yeah.
lawyer to sit down.
Yeah.
It's a pretty complicated thing.
Yeah.
And if you read the stuff that I took off the internet and stuff here, there's a lot of feeling too that if you've got a business that's paying taxes in town and you're giving somebody a tax break, how fair is that? You know, that's a big issue and stuff here in a lot of towns. There's a lot to it.
It depends on what good you're getting out of it by the tax benefit. Like with the tree farm thing, you've got, the land is not developed, you've got water, you've got air, you've got recreation. I mean, there's a benefit to the town, it's not just the landowner, there's a greater good for that.
All right, unknown owner, review report, Hopkinson, step forward, see report. So it looks like to me, there's a whole list of errors,
Yep, we had a lot of kids,
and a lot of kids. And they recommend
bummer.
contact them each by letter, right?
Yep, I tried, I contacted them on how much they have spent, what our bill looks like at this point with them, they didn't respond, so I'm gonna have to call again. So I don't know how much money we've spent with them, but they wanna know what you wanna do with this. Do you want them to basically contact all the heirs and do the legwork and clear the title that way, or see if one of them's interested, or what do you want them to do? Or are they done? And
Is that something we can do? Contact the heirs and?
Larry Lord did the one for the school, I don't know, I think it's the process, but.
It's a long process.
Is that, it'll be easier for them to do it?
Well, I'd like to know how much we're spending.
Yep,
We don't know how much we spent at all yet,
Right,
because we haven't
yeah.
got a bill. And we're about halfway into this thing.
How many acres are involved? It's too
40,
much.
oh, it's 49,
49 total?
I can look again. Very marketable.
The only downside to it is that it's landlocked,
It is.
yeah.
And there's a couple of people, there's one guy on Ward's Hill that's interested in it.
Yeah.
It would go right onto his.
Yep.
And then, Ricky Day, it would go onto his.
Yeah, I think all the abutters have contacted us asking
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
so, it's-
Put it out to bid for all of them.
they're very interested.
So, you know, my thought is that it's marketable once you get the title cleared. It's worth a lot more if you get the title cleared.
Yeah.
If you just market it as is and let the new owner clear title, the town just you're gonna get a lot less for it. And so, the question you gotta ask is, will it be worth the town's effort?
That's why I'd like to know how much money we've spent already.
Yeah, so, but, just, do you have a sense of what 50 acres of forest land is worth?
Maybe Paul Howard give us a quick and dirty clear title versus
Yeah,
non-clear title as far as the market goes. Landlocked piece of property.
should have some pretty mature pine trees on it by now. I don't know.
From what I've talked to one guy that borders it, is there's a lot of scrubs, because there's a lot of ledge up there, a lot of rock.
Maybe it's not. So, yeah, Danielle, if you can get numbers for us, how much we spent so far.
Okay. And what about a value? Do you wanna wait?
Well, we can just estimate, I guess.
Do you want me to call Paul, or?
Yeah, I'm sure we could somehow get a view of it.
He can give you a base figure. You know,
Oh, yeah.
how much land is going for in the town of Baldwin. And I'm not, is there a view about Washington land?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either. For some reason, I wanna say that there is, but I don't wanna stick my neck out.
I can call Paul. We've been talking on other stuff too, we've kind of been working together, so I'm sure he'd help us out.
Yeah, if you just get a rough idea, but I would think it would be worth $500 an idea of, how much you got into it and how much you need to recover, I think, you know, so.
Yeah. And how many acres?
All right, review email from legal services for the elderly, right? What's that all about, Danielle?
You might wanna
See the email,
question as far, it should be right there for you.
you know?
Oh, yeah, that's on your
Kind of swell.
That's it.
That's it? Oh, okay. Now, he wants to make payments. Right?
It's been going on and on and on.
Oh, that's right, too, David sent this email to the Selectmen Secretary. That'd be you, good.
Yes, sir.
I saw it, the Selectmen Secretary.
Well, I am.
No, you're more than that.
I don't know what you folks have done in the past, but when I was on the board before, the way we handled these things was, we would give them 3 years, and say, I'm not gonna tell you how much to pay and when to pay, because there's a precedent somewhere that says if we set the terms of a payment, that we are formalizing a mortgage.
Yeah.
And so we would always say, you can, we're not gonna kick you out of the house, we'll allow you to stay there, and make payments, and, we think you can afford to make X number of payments, and so by, you know, date X, we think you'll be clean, we think, we looked at your finances. And for the most part, what I've talked to people is that most of the people did that, they came through and paid off. What he's proposing is a 6-year proposal, and I'm not necessarily against that.
We're not a bank, though. We're not a bank.
No, we're not.
I think he ought to save up his payments and pay us once a year, if he wants to do that. Because if not, we're gonna be taking on a lot of extra bookkeeping
Yeah,
for nothing.
I know, and the only advantage of making monthly payments to the taxpayer is that it will cut down on the interest due.
That's his problem.
Yeah, okay.
You're right, you're absolutely right. He's gonna accrue interest and stuff like that, but like I say, that's his problem.
The thing I don't have a handle on quite is that, you know, when we first went out and talked to the individual, we were pretty concerned,
Yeah.
and, I'm surprised that 3 years later this is still going on. And,
Well, that's why my feeling is it won't happen. You know, we won't make payments,
and,
you know, just,
well, that's what I say is, I kind of leave this for you two to decide, because you've worked it up to this point, but I know in the past, what we did was, we would say, okay, we'll allow you to make payments, but we're not gonna tell you how much, but in 3 years' time, we're gonna look at it again.
Just give them a timeline on when they have it all paid up.
Well, listen,
the problem you've got with what his taxes are for what he pays, in 3 years' time, he's still gonna have the same amount over his head as he's got right now. You know, well, you get it figured right in here.
he figures that it's gonna take 6 years to get,
That's right.
and,
Plus, we're gonna go on regular taxes.
That's right.
The,
You guys wanna table it, I mean, we've been this long, what's another week, if you guys wanna discuss it some
Well,
more.
I think we own it now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just need to respond to this attorney.
yeah. But it,
we can talk about it again next Tuesday night if you want, but my thought was, you can continue to, allow them to make payments, and we'll take a look at it again in 3 years and see where we stand. But not make any promises.
Right.
And that's what we always did, was that if you get made good in in 3 years' time, we think you can get there. We might be checking up on you every now and then to see how you're doing, but, if in 3 years we review it again and you've not gone anywhere, we're not promising you to get it. I don't care if you paid 80% of the taxes, that's what you owe the town just to live in it.
Mm-hmm.
You're renting, in essence. And, I know it's a hard way to do it, but, it's because of the way the laws have been interpreted, I think, that, we need to protect our interests.
yeah, I don't wanna see him kicked out or evicted.
No, I don't either.
But by the same token, it isn't fair to the rest of the people of town if he doesn't pay something. So bottom line is, we foreclosed on it. My thinking is we're gonna own that someday, whether we want it or not.
Maybe not,
I hope you're right, I hope we don't and stuff.
Well,
But
I'll give you a scenario.
there's a 5-acre parcel of land I have.
Let's say the gentleman makes payments for a couple of years and then deceased. The property will probably go to his heirs. And then the heirs will then be responsible for the taxes. And so, the way the town would own it is if the heirs decide not to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sure thing one way or the other, but.
I don't think they're interested in doing it either.
Then they say, keep it.
Yeah.
Well, right now, it's not getting assessed, because it's town owned,
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to calculate out those taxes if it's gonna be redeemed.
we should be assessing the taxes because we're gonna, there's a standard phrase, I think, that we put in those that says, pay the taxes, as if you were the owner kind of thing. There's some words that spell it out. But that we should be assessing it every year and keeping a running total of their interest and whatnot. I think I'm surprised that he didn't come back and give us more financial information.
We don't allow a lot of other people to make payments.
No.
So I don't know why we want to allow one guy to make payments.
I don't know, that's what I say. I would say that we're not gonna tell you to make payments or how much you're gonna make, but we'll tell you that we'll give you.
I have a problem, is he behind his payments?
Is he behind? About 3 years.
Have him take a loan from the bank and make the payments to the bank and then we get all the money.
Yeah.
Probably the bank will check it, right?
Probably not.
We did that. He and I spent some time trying to help some people out and stuff. Went good for about a year. Then you know as well as I do, you look right in the town, they're back there now. That's frustrating.
Yeah, well, anyway, all right. We can talk about it.
To be determined, to be continued. Okay.
I don't forget you even thought.
I don't mean to load you up, but there's a lot going on.
All right. Planning board vacancy, we're gonna,
There's an ad going in next week, it's on the website, it's on Facebook.
okay,
Next meeting, maybe make a decision.
sounds good to me.
Get some names.
planning board is discussing it this Thursday, and the upcoming, term expiration,
Oh, okay.
so.
Yep, planning board meeting Thursday, March 25th, 2021, via Zoom.
Still soon.
Town office open Saturday, March 27th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Sure.
Kathy, you have anything?
Two little things. Is there gonna be an Easter egg hunt this year? And the other question that's come up is the books that are down in the case, we've just gotten a bunch of kids' books. And we wondered if we could swap stuff out,
Yeah.
you know, and
I think we need a bigger bookshelf.
I think you're probably right.
That's good.
But I think there's a lot of adult books that really aren't being read. If they've been read, they've been returned, or they've been sitting there the whole time, so.
Maybe an adult one and a kid's one.
Pull them out and just, you know, put in something
Yeah.
that, like, we know that they're going fast in the library circulating.
Thanks.
And we've got overflow books, we've got a lot of great donations this year. Get some of those books down here for people to read. You know, if they come to the library, God bless them, that's great, come on in. But if they're too shy or it's convenient, then get the books down here, get people reading.
We had someone actually come in, swapped out some kids' books for kids' books, and did like a swap.
Cool,
So,
great,
yeah, it was cool, she brought it back, it was nice.
awesome.
Good?
Can you
And
wait on
Easter
your
egg
books?
hunt, we haven't heard, nobody's come forward to organize it. Usually someone comes in and does one, but it's been silent, so I don't know.
Who's done it in the past?
Devin Mills did one for a fundraiser, the school.
That's right too, yeah.
The school did one, they had a group, I can't remember what group it was from the school, did one, but I think with COVID, everybody's not doing anything.
Well, more people wanna do outside type stuff. We're already having people ask at the library, can we use the outdoor space? Sure, come on down.
Yeah.
Are you still sanitizing books and stuff when they come in from out?
We do quarantine them if they're things that are from people that we're not aware of. If they're regular patrons and they're being clean about it, then it's not as bad. But yeah, we just bring them in, set them for a few days, clean them off, make sure everything is copacetic, which is more what we should be doing anyway, and then put them back right in. So, yeah. But we're going by the Maine State Library's guidelines, and they're relaxing about it, they're not as intense about it all, so that's good. We let more people into the building, we're gonna start doing programs pretty soon.
What is it, after the 26th?
Mhm.
I believe it is, we're relaxing quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Other than that, thank you very much for the check. But yeah, we're trying to get things going, we've got some programs that we wanna start running. That's about it, thank you.
Les?
We've got our wonderful neighbor Phil on deck. I delivered the third letter Friday, and it was, what explained all the things and steps that we'd like to talk to him about. I gave him extra brochures from the state on what it takes to be a used car dealer, on and on. I asked to go in the house and talk with him, I did, I talked 10 or 15 minutes. And I said, yeah, you can't be a car dealer here. He said, who wants to sell cars? I said, you told me the first time I was here, you had the cars, and you'd like to sell one every now and then, get a little extra money. He's a pro, he's just feeling fine.
Yeah.
What it involved is, turned out to be, he says, I like cars, I just get them and I like them. I said, 17 of them in your yard?
No.
Things that they run. Okay, so tomorrow, I have an appointment with tomorrow to go there, and I'm gonna take a picture of every car and describe them and try to get in the glove compartment, get the registration, find out who owns it or what's going on. And then to him say, what are you gonna do with these cars? You either come to the meeting and we need to, only the selectmen can negotiate them, or get rid of them. So, I think it's, I think it's gonna end up to be legal action, if you wanna get rid of the cars. Suppose that.
It'll be an uphill battle,
That sounds like a nice, yeah.
yeah, no doubt about it.
I haven't looked into it, but I think I will with the state auto dealer. My neighbor one time had a whole bunch of cars, and some people complained, he went to the state, and he claimed, they're older collectible cars, and they said, you can have them as long as you line them up neatly, something like that. So he'll line them up on one property line and put a stockade fence behind them.
Now,
Either that or get rid of them.
land use
You're
ordinance,
better off, get rid of them.
Okay.
land use ordinance.
Yeah, it says three.
Yeah, there's
I'll
three,
put
so
that
we
in,
gotta,
that is the conversation, the other responsibility, it's curtains, get rid of them, period.
especially with campers, they're quite the eyesore out there.
Well, you know, I try to use the debate of, you're degrading the neighbor's property and on and on, well, neighbors is some place, on both sides. So I didn't push that too far.
We've seen that corner kind of get downhill in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Many don't know what kind of
Okay.
fluids are leaking from it.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
We'll see what my negotiating skills are tomorrow.
All right.
Best of luck, Wes.
Bob, you got anything else?
Other than that, there were some items that we talked about at the last workshop that were not carried over to this time. Like the River Road issue, maybe I can feed that to Danielle, so we think the shoe wasn't dropped, but,
Not too far back, there was a conversation about that S bend in the hill there. We don't know what's buried under there, big rock ledge, why did they make their S bend in the first place?
Good question.
so, yeah, I'll feed them to Danielle, maybe we'll bring them up again. But they were on the list from,
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I can carry them back over, I
Well,
guess
we-
just trying to streamline things a little bit.
we shouldn't try to, I don't think we should let those go.
No, you're right.
I have an agenda, I can get some workshop items.
That's all I have.
Some of the stuff we talked about tonight, it would
Yeah.
help with the other ones.
Yeah, I think the river road is very important. I think we need to address that.
From what I understand, it's in pretty good shape right now.
Right now.
Yeah, well, he's dragged it, you know, with
Yeah,
the rake
yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and it's drying out. People are fairly happy right now.
Until the rain this weekend.
Yeah, that could screw it up again.
Oh wait, it's supposed to snow again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna be anything.
I took some barrel of sand out of my track, it better not snow. You got anything, Dwight?
No,
I don't have anything.